Welcome back to Automotive. And, well, some finally fab work. Finally, some fab work. Wow, we're starting it off strong. So, here's my send cut send order. All 73 parts. Gotta love the simplicity of their packaging. So, I've got multiple things on here, and I can kind of point them out a little bit, right? Like, this is the rear cross member for the upper forelink. You've got the bracket that goes on the axle to hold the lower forelink, but also this and that, so it'll hold the shock and the coil over. You've got the engine mount, some more engine mount, cross member. This will be this, and this are the cutouts on the rear of the frame for the lower forelink. This guy mounts to the engine right there for my custom engine mounts, which brings me to what we're doing this episode, which is going to be fabricating and installing those engine mounts. So I've got five pieces of sheet metal that get welded together to make the portion that attaches to the block. So 10 makes two assemblies. It'll be a welded assembly. And then I've got the three pieces that will attach on here, right? So my goal is to, first off, pull them out of this mess. I say mess, it's really not. It's rather organized, and you can just cut your individual part and pull it out, right? And the only thing that actually happened in shipping was these managed to come out. Other than that, I mean, for 73 parts on, one thing, it's impressive. It's cool. So I'll pull out the parts required to make it. I will tack them up, which I'm just going to kind of tack up, make them square. And then I'll full weld them. And then I will, I'll tack the guys that go on here. And then I need to find out, well, where the heck they need to go on here, which I'll probably just pull measurements off the CAD model, measure it, and then line it up. So I'll do what I did to get closer so you can see it. You can kind of see my lines, right? So I could find the cross points, which allowed me to measure, right? I'll have to do that on the inside, which for this, since it kind of tapers, right? I'll measure from the top, so it won't be an exact line, but it will give me this cross point here that I want. And then, I'll measure from that point to wherever I put it, and that'll place the engine. So the goal is at the end of this video, the LS kind of sits here. Now, there's no transmission on it because I think I'm going to switch to a 5-speed or 6-speed, whatever I find. I haven't fully decided that. So I probably won't fully rest on the engine mounts. I'll probably prop something off. Also, things that have happened, right? So where I left off, we put these in. I now have my fuel cell as well. So I can finish up the design parts, and then here in a week or so, I will get those ordered, which will be essentially 2 cross members, 2 bars underneath, some decorative paneling on the side, and then just 2 pieces of sheet metal to hold it in place, right? Nothing too crazy. And I already ordered the hardware, and then I've got rubber for it, which brings me to the tubes as well, right? So this is the tubing for the framework for the fuel cell. These are my lower and upper forelinks. We'll dig more into those on the next episode, because the next episode, I'm going to start this. Now, with everything involved in doing this correctly, it'll probably be a 2 to 3 part, depending on how it goes, right? I'll probably start with the cross member and getting that set up correctly. And then I'll probably do the lowers, and I'll probably try and do that portion all in one video. And then I'll do the axle in another video. And then I'll do a video to where I test out the forelinks, right? Make sure nothing collides in the process, nothing gets sticky. Then from there, in that third video or second, depending on how I do it, I'll full weld everything once I know that everything is dialed in. But before then, I'm just going to do some tacking, and we'll go through that process when we get there. I got way out of pocket on this, but this video's goal is going to be engine mounts. So let me get out those parts and maybe magnet it in place. I don't know. My mind is rambling, right? ADHD at its finest. I came out here like 2 hours ago, and I've just been cleaning and organizing and building up to this point. So I haven't really accomplished anything. And who knows if I'm going to accomplish anything before I leave. Let's just get to work. Well, the engine mounts are prep-ish. I mean, they're good for my initial welding. These I'll probably need to bevel the edges when I go to put them on the frame, but I cleaned it up, so Sand Cut Sand basically just cuts everything out. I believe they use water jet, but maybe it's just a laser table as well. Either or. So you do have a little finish work, but for the price, I'll do the finish work. I'm fine with it. So I cleaned up any of the spots where I'm going to be hitting it with the welder. I might need to touch those up again. So these are all 3/16ths, with the exception of these bad boys. Now this is what hard mounts directly to the engine, and it is quarter, right? All mild steel. I believe it's A36. These are the guys that will attach to the frame itself, this being the top portion that's taller in the bottom portion. So I know the measurements somewhat for where they go. Cool. Worked out well with the design that these are 3-inch. So the 1, 2, 3 block will be handy to keep these where I need them. These ones, I did not do the same. So it's going to be a little tricky, but I think if I can put them all into the slots flat on their faces, utilizing magnets and clamps and stuff, then I shouldn't have an issue. But, you know, that's just my way of thinking at the moment. We'll see how difficult this is, but I'll go through, I'll tack everything up, and then as long as everything's lined up correctly, I can go through and finish weld it. We shouldn't run into any issues at that point. So, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and tack weld it. see where we're at, and probably finish weld it, and then I'll come back to you, I don't know when. You'll see me soon. Well, taking a little break, so I figured I'd pop in and catch you guys up with where I'm at and what I've learned. And by that I mean, I'm not great at welding, but I'm learning. So what you'll see is this first one, I got way too damn hot. Right? My settings were wrong. When you look at this, you know, you would assume that 3/16 you would use for 3/16 thick. No. Apparently you use 5. So that'd be why this one is so hot. I will clean it up before I throw it on. And, well, my welds aren't great by any means. But you know what? I'm learning. This one, I'm a little concerned that the beads got smaller, but maybe they're supposed to be. That one is really not great. You can see here I was playing with the settings a bit, so it's not as hot, but definitely too hot. And that one would be my ugliest. No, maybe that one's uglier. I don't know. Either way, not great. I'll clean them up the best I can before throwing them on there. You know, I'm learning. It's to be expected. With this one, I've just been grinding them off can go and grind them a little smoother, honestly. Same with back here. And I just, tack the inside. But as you can see, I'm not having the same heat issues, but you can really tell from the other side, like it's getting warm, but not nearly as bad as like that whole thing color changed. So, and with this being a quarter, it definitely could take the heat a little bit better, but it now looks like what it's supposed to. Really didn't take much. I've got the 1, 2, 3 blocks, which worked perfect for these guys because that gapper's 3. Couldn't use it on this, but the nice thing is the way I designed it was, you just butt it up to all the spots and make sure it's flat, and you're exactly where you should be. So Sin does a great job of being within a pretty good tolerance. So definitely good enough for what I'm doing. I still have a lot to weld on these guys, and after I finish welding up these, I'll throw them on the engine. Oh wait, no, I gotta clean these up before I get too far. These I probably won't have to clean up after that, so them I could throw on the engine, and then I can go through here and I can start putting them on, tack them in place, make sure they're in the correct place. And yeah, then I can throw the engine in, and once the engine's in, the video's over. And on to the next. Let's get back to work. Well, she's on there. Now, of course, there's no trans or no trans mount, so the back is still supported by wood. Other than that, they're there. I'm pretty happy with them. Somewhere along the lines, I'm wrong in my model. So this gap is an inch bigger than I wanted, but really that's not a problem because that allows me a taller intake if I want, or I go with the same intake height and I do a hood, which I've been open to the whole time. I'm not opposed to a hood. I'm just not gonna run fenders, because she's a hot rod, or a rat rod, a rud rod. It's a damn truck. But this is cool. So if you've been following along, you'll know that the engine mounts are the reason that I cut up the whole frame and essentially redid this. So I dropped it, 7 inches lower than my dad had it. Maybe not that much, but yeah, probably at least 5 inches of a drop compared to what he had it. And then I shortened the wheelbase by over 10 inches. At least that's my goal when it's all said and done. And all of that stemmed from the motor mounts not actually being correct and the trans mount not being correct. So it's kind of cool to get one thing done that wasn't done before I got into this, right? Because technically I'm further behind than where I started, which isn't always great for a project, right? I don't know if I showed you, but fuel cell's kind of back here. Axle's kind of where it should be. These things will get dialed in because that's the next video is going to be doing the 4-link stuff. And once that's in place, then the next step will be that. Getting ahead of myself though. Here. Now, outside of screwing up and not actually hitting record when I did the full welds, pretty happy with the project. My welds are, well, there's a lot to be desired there. They're not great by any means. You can tell that I'm a rather noob. Get in here a little bit, you can kind of see the welds. They're not pretty. Sadly, I wish they were better. They'll get better. It's going to take me some time to learn the art of welding, and that's exactly what it is. It's an art. There were times where, man, I was hitting it really good, and the welds turn out good, and then there's trash like that just didn't turn out good. So it's going to take some practice. Dialing it in. I think I've got it pretty good for where it's at. Part of this just really makes me want to switch to TIG welding, but that would require a whole other welder, and right now it's not really worth it, right? I'm still learning, and it's not like I'm going to pick up TIG and instantly be good at that, so there's not a whole lot of value there. That being said, engine's in. I got to the finish of the video. Also, I put her pretty close to the firewall, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So she's nice and tight in there, which allows me plenty of room for the front, right? So I've got all of this. So this bar might actually be where the grill ends up, depending. Now I can bring the axle over here on the front and kind of figure that out. I'm also working on that in the CAD model too. So I think the only thing not really dialed in the model is just going to be the dimensions of this cab, right? I don't have a 3D scanner. That's probably why my firewall's a little off, but whatever. Let's try and get a little bit out zoom of what we're looking at here. Oh man, that is sweet. Oh, I love this truck. I'm so excited. I've been pushing. I know you guys probably aren't seeing videos as frequently as you like, but I am constantly working on this. I've been giving up tons of sleep to dial in the CAD model, right? I did the engine mounts, I did the 4-link, I did the fuel cell, starting to work on the front axle, which is a nightmare. There's a couple things I'm also trying to figure out too. I haven't even really kicked into the inside of the cab. I have a rough idea what I'm doing with the box. I kind of know my overall length of the box as well. There's just a lot. You know, I'm also trying to dial in the width of the tires, like the stance. I already have the rim and the tire is something I spec'd out early on. Like this whole build revolves around those two things, which, you know, may be ridiculous. I don't know. It's what inspired me, it's what's pushing me. But I'm trying to dial in too to make sure the front's not too narrow and the back's not too wide. They're just, oh, the more you dig into a project like this, the more you realize there is to figure out. Like, I've also been trying to figure out how I want to have space for luggage, right? There's not going to be much of a bed. And even then, I don't want it, you know, to have to tie down, but who knows? You know, this kind of thing to take a ride with me and my ADHD, it goes wild and I go everywhere. So I think I've rambled on long enough. Man, not even making sense anymore. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to give welding tips. Trying to figure it out. I've watched a couple welding videos. You know, I am improving. Before this, I would just, you know, do 1,000 tacks. This is the first time I've really taken the time to actually run a bead. And there's a lot to be desired, right? It's definitely an art form of speed and dialing in the welder, but it's fun. It's fun. With that, I'm going to call it an end. Have a good one.